The young Knight Atal was betrayed by her country and allies. Before her death, she made a contract with the 13th-seed demon and fell into a different world called Confluence. She became a hunter, codenamed Undertaker, and began to fulfill the contract, hunting gods. That is the basis for Abyss Knights, an upcoming free-to-play action gacha game releasing globally onto PC, Android, and iOS devices. Very few people are discussing Abyss Knights. Heck, equally as few people are even aware of its existence, yet it is on my radar personally due to its phenomenal graphical style, its dark, gritty aesthetic, its fluid action combat, and resemblance to Diablo, Path of Exile, and Lost Ark. But what exactly is it? Who's developing it? When is it releasing? And will it ultimately be worth playing? That is what we're here today to attempt to find out. So let's just jump right in. I'm a big fan of dark aesthetics, post-apocalyptic environments, games set in a world where the remnants of civilization are struggling to survive, which is probably one of the reasons why I like Nikke as much as I do, and really enjoyed Stellar Blade, Nier Automata. This game specifically, and even the aforementioned games, is gritty, gory. Heck, the protagonist, the chick that you play as, looks absolutely fantastic. Sure, she isn't packing in terms of plot, but neither is a protagonist in Genshin, or Star Rail, or Zenless, or really anyone outside of female Rover. Probably one of the reasons so many people love Wuwa, honestly. She looks like she's seen things. My single concern with Abyss Knights right now is that outside of the characters that we've seen in the trailer footage, of which we saw several, additional characters have yet to be revealed. There is no official website and thus no list of characters at present. Abyss Knights is developed by, and I did have to run this through Google Translate, so the rough translation is Devil's Roundtable or Demon Roundtable. This is their very first game, which means the devs are likely to run into quite a number of issues along the way, which we'll touch on in just a little bit. First, I want to discuss the kind of game that Abyss Knights is. It doesn't feature an open world, or at least it doesn't feature an open world in the traditional sense. It isn't seamlessly accessible and explorable like Wuthering Waves or Genshin Impact rather, and this is purely based off of what we've seen, but it is going to theoretically either focus on instanced areas or segregated zones. Think somewhere between Punishing Grey Raven or Hongai's Star Rail. The exact style of game has yet to be fully confirmed outside of what we've seen in that one single trailer that was released. It features a full action combat system allowing you to cycle through abilities. However, unlike the aforementioned gachas, and I guess gacha games in general, Abyss Knights touts itself as being a Souls-like action RPG with a focus on real-time, responsive action gameplay, dodges, parries. So I guess if you were to make a comparison, Unending Dawn, which is another upcoming gacha game that is also a Souls-like gacha, is probably the only real direct competition that this game has. Although Abyss Knights has a top-down isometric perspective, which is viewed from above the player rather than behind or over the shoulder, Unending Dawn is going to be much more traditional, like Hongai's Star Rail, Genshin, Wuthering Waves. I've honestly never played a Souls-like game from a top-down isometric perspective, so this will be kind of interesting. There are multiple recruitable characters. There is a functional gearing system. It's very much so a Path of Exile, but gacha with Souls-like combat for what it's worth. It was first revealed earlier in 2024. The devs released a gameplay trailer showing off over 10 minutes worth of gameplay. I was incredibly excited when I saw it because it was an entirely new style of gacha, and I am always up for trying new games in new subgenres out. Since then, pre-registration was opened on both Bilibili and TapTap with millions of interested players from all around the world. However, in August 2024, something happened that has put a damper on anticipation. Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely cannot thank you all enough for the support. This was translated from Chinese, so it might not be entirely accurate, but I'm sure you can gauge what's going on. Due to financing difficulties, the development of the domestic game Abyss Knights has been suspended indefinitely. Recently, the 3D action RPG mobile game Abyss Knights, developed by the Demon Roundtable, announced that after communicating with all parties, it has decided to freeze the development of the project indefinitely. Investor Rosa posted a message saying, "We will not stop moving forward. We will always insist on making games, and one day we'll gather enough strength to restart Abyss Knights." Development of the game has been suspended indefinitely. Not permanently. Nowhere here does it state that the game was shut down or that it was canceled, merely suspended, which means that they're likely in the process of figuring out their next move. Official announcement. After communicating with all parties, Abyss Knights decided to freeze the development indefinitely. At the end of this bloody road, destiny did not appear for us. Now we will stop the journey. We have always been the most romantic and unique ship on this body of water. Now that everything is frozen and the rivers are frozen, we will not be sad or complain. We are still lightly packed and enthusiastic, and we will not bow down to fate. We will camp out on the ice. We will pick, hunt, and resist the cold. Farewell to those who travel far away. Friends and players in and outside the industry who are reading this text, I want to wish you all the best, but I can't wish you all the best. Life won't be smooth sailing. I just hope you'll always have courage. When next spring comes, we will meet again. While never a good thing to hear, it's better that they be transparent with their players now than go silent for years, leaving their players hanging. And heck, they even stated there in closing, when next spring comes, we will meet again. With this in mind, and while you can still pre-register, there is no confirmed release date nor closed beta plan for the foreseeable future. 2025 is entirely off the table unless some miracle happens, which is highly unlikely. Abyss Knights looks absolutely fantastic, and I genuinely cannot wait to finally be able to play it, either as Abyss Knights or as something else entirely. They confirmed that they're not giving up, and we shouldn't write the game off yet. It is far from dead. And honestly, with how few gacha games exist of this specific style, it'd be a waste to give up hope that they'll make a comeback even stronger than ever sometime in the future. This is one of the few gacha games that really could end up different. This is not some cutesy, vibrant anime RPG. It's not an open world gacha like Wuwa or Azure Premilia. It's not an urban fantasy game like Ananta or Neverness or Wangyua. This is a game that is different. It is genuinely different. We need more games like this. We don't need a 10th Genshin Impact. So I'm excited to see where this journey takes them, what the final product ultimately ends up being, and maybe, just maybe, being able to play it globally for myself. Hey, where do you think you're going? I see what you're doing there. I see you navigating on over, scrolling on over to that X button. Don't you dare. What I need you to do is take a moment and click one of the videos that are about to appear as soon as I'm done talking. And trust me, you're gonna wanna.